Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to my home away from work. Anyway, I just wanted to let people know, for those of us that run 550s, my biggest dilemma, I have so many heads and dies and whatnot. I've struggled to move to a 1050 or 1100, but I love this Dillon. I have a matching 550 as well for my pistol rounds. But I'm just getting into reloading rifle and trying to eliminate the times I touch the brass. All these cases were processed yesterday, deprimed on my Lee APP press, which is awesome. The reason I like to do that is I like to keep all the dirt out of my dies on my Dillon. So I go through the extra step of first anneal everything. Goes to get deprimed on this machine. And then I throw it through the wet tumbler with stainless steel pins. So it gets to this stage. And I am ready to, I maybe a little bit anal, I guess, but I keep one of these with every single little bin that I have of brass. So I know the load of, it's not loaded yet, of course, but I know what I want to do, my trim length, my case overall length, etc. But on my case prep, as you can see there, the manual side is annealing, decapping, wet tumble, and then I do not have a roll sizer yet, but that's coming next week, which is going to be part of the process as well. Once I'm done with that, it goes into a bin like this whenever I'm ready to do case prep. So with the case prep, I'm lubing with lanolin, letting sit for 10 minutes, throwing it in my hopper. But let me show you what I've kind of come up with my head here. Typically, I see, guys running this in Station 3 with maybe something else in Station 1. Like I said, I wanted to max this thing out as much as possible. So this is kind of a cool little, I don't know if everybody knows this exists or not, but I found it online, and it's called Swage It. So what I'm doing in Station 1, there's no die, as you can see. Or maybe you can't see. There you go. My tripod is not quite tall enough. But if you can see that little pin come up, I'm not a professional videographer by any means either, but it's a little Swage It tool. So I'm sure that exists on the bigger machines. Not really, I haven't seen it on many 550s. But in my processing for this 223, and for that matter, any rifle, I'm going to use this in Station 1 as long as it works. But this is a large swager, and the small one is actually mounted up front. When I want to change those, I just take one out, put it in here, and good to go. A couple bolts hold it in here and there. But I love it so far. I'll show you how it works after I explain what I'm doing here. But Station 2 is the cutter, of course. And that's fine. The cutter, like I said, is normally in Station 3. But I had to make some modifications to this exhaust shroud, because I have another die in Station 3, which is a small base sizing die. And then in Station 4, I have a Lyman M die. So I'm expanding the necks ever so slightly, so the billet seat, I'm using Full Metal Jacket boat tails, and it works real slick. So that's really my case prep process. I've gone through about, 500, I think, this morning, just testing it out. The first time I've done 223. But I guess I just wanted to share the setup with someone that has a 550 with a case feeder and a bullet feeder. I'm hoping this works pretty slick. But after this process is done, I throw them in the wet tumbler again, and they're ready to load. My loading die is here. So I have a note in here for myself. I think I'm going to put a brush die in there just to make sure that there's nothing there's nothing in that case before I load. My bullet or my powder feed in station 2. Station 3 has the bullet drop, and station 4, unfortunately, I only have one station left, but is a cedar crimp combo, and it takes a little bit frustrating to get that thing dialed in. But for me, I'm not a precision guy yet, but I want to, I load to shoot. So I like quantity, and having this bullet feeder is a godsend. Having the case feeder is awesome as well. And I just wanted to give some people an idea of the setup, and I can kind of show you how it runs here if I can. Be a little bit noisy, so bear with me. That's the trimmer. And oh, by the way, the trimmer is so fast and cuts so precise. I've seen back and forth comments whether this needs to be chamfered and deburred afterwards. When I get through this process, it gets wet tumbled with stainless steel pins and or chips. And from what I've seen in the little that I've used it, it smooths out any burrs that are there. It gets rid of any little loose flakes that are there. So I'm not I am not chamfering and deburring at all. So this Hornady 3-in-1 trimmer chamfer deburr machine, never been used, will be on the market here sooner than later if I can make all this work like I think it should. But anyway, let me get the camera set up here. Again, I apologize, I'm not a professional videographer, so it's going to be a little bit loud with the shop vac, but I'll show you how this works. So anyway, it's not absolutely smoking fast. There's the cases are so narrow, like the tip one way or the other. One thing I didn't mention, in order to run 223 on a 550 with a case feeder, you need to modify a 300 blackout drop tube. So that's what this blue is. If you have a case feeder, just need to hollow that out a little bit more to get the height of this case. But other than that, seems to work pretty well. I mean, I'm doing 4 processes there that would take me a long time on my rock chucker. So appreciate any comments. Constructive criticism would be great. But if I take a few out of here that I just did, wipe them off, drop them in my Dillon case gauge. good to go. Those three. This is my neck spacing, so that's about 2.5, if I'm reading that correctly, for my neck expansion. I may want to go down just a touch on that to be at 2. Someone could leave me a comment on that. But I like the bullet to seat in cleanly, because it's really a pain when, it falls out half of the time. I set my trim die to measure 1.75 to be the highest. I measured a lot of these previously, and it looked like a lot of them were below 1.75 to start with. That one looks like it's a little bit bigger. I'll have to check that. 1.753, 1.751, 1.737. So that one was not trimmed at all, but it didn't need to be. So I just want to make sure nothing's over. Well, these were 1.753, 1.750, bounces around just a touch. But for my purposes, I think I'm good. My thought is every time I bring my processed brass in, I have a setup like that. And if my trim die is set up where I do not want to go over, it'll just trim whichever cases are too long. So after firing, of course, they're going to extend, and my full-length sizing die and my neck expansion die here, I think, going to work out okay. But yeah, let me know if there's any comments on my to-do list here as well. That would be helpful. I have this sheet in every one of my bins of brass here, so I know exactly what stage I'm in each process. So if anybody else has any ideas there, that'd be great. But for me to do that on that puppy, take a long time. So I'm all for saving the time I can and doing it correctly. Thanks for watching. If anybody has any constructive criticism, that would be greatly appreciated. Again, I am not a professional reloader. I am not a professional videographer. So please subdue in the comments regarding all of that. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great Saturday. Bye.